Well, good morning to welcome to your morning live from Windsor. Hey, we know that Ben is here, Jessica is here. They've been sending out a couple pictures. Their three kids, of course, are part of the wedding party. And we figured who better to get some advice from than a royal bridesmaid herself. So we stopped in and checked in with one of the world's best known bridesmaids. This is India Hicks. She's Prince Charles' goddaughter. She stood by Diana on her big day. She's gone on to launch a successful lifestyle brand, and she invited us to her country home to talk about it. Take a look. Well, Canada has a strong presence in this upcoming royal wedding. We've got 3 Canadian children in the bridal party. Our co-anchors, the kids, Ivy and the twins, Brian and John, will all be pages and bridesmaids. What advice could you give to them about being in a royal wedding? You were a little bit older, but do you have any advice?
Gosh, it's an amazing thing because you're very unaware of it at the time, and later it just sticks with you. You are forever the bridesmaid or the page boy too. I was slightly older, so I had a job, of course, which was good. I had to look after that 25-foot train. But some of the younger bridesmaids, Clemmy Hambro, slipped in the Buckingham Palace corridor, and we had the Queen there and Princess Diana and a lot of the royal family, and there was Clemmy with her wreath all askew. That's one thing not to do. But she was very young, admittedly. The other thing not to do is to be allergic to horses. Catherine Cameron rode in the carriage with me after the ceremony, and her eyes were streaming and puffy and red, and her nose was streaming as well, because only then did she discover that she was allergic to horses. So don't be allergic to horses and don't slip in the royal corridor.
Do you remember that feeling, that moment of being in a carriage, the roar of the crowds, people waving and cheering? Do you have a memory of that?
Yes, very strong. It's funny because there were certain things, you know, I was 13 years old and I was a complete tomboy, so there were parts of it that I remember very vividly and parts of it that I just kind of like, oh my God, that dress. But yes, the crowds were incredible. And I think that is because we're so used to crowds who are angry or protesting, and on this occasion it's happiness and joy and excitement. And rather like when you're at a concert, it's so different to listening to music. When you're actually there living the music, it feels so different. And the wedding was like that. I remember inside the cathedral, everybody was very proper, of course. All the royal families were gathered there, all the heads of state, you know, over, I think, what was it, 1,200 guests in that amazing cathedral. And it was silent, silent, silent. And outside, when they said their vows, we could hear the crowds go crazy. Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales, is your godfather, and you've said that you adore him. We know the public image of the royal family. They're very dutiful, lots of protocol, but what are they like behind closed doors? They still are a family. Oh my goodness, they're very much family, like any other family. And you know, we've seen bits here and there of, you know, disagreements, moments of parenting that's gone awry. But all I can really speak to is my relationship with the Prince of Wales as a godfather, and he is caring, considerate. I was very lucky to be a goddaughter quite early on. I don't think he had the flock that he has now. But at that stage, when he was asked to be my godfather, he was very close to my grandfather. My grandfather really mentored him through a lot of his early childhood. And I don't know how big a success The Crown is in Canada, but certainly in England and America, everybody's watching it. And I think they've done it firstly beautifully, and when I asked my mother, she says very, very close indeed to how life is lived behind those castle doors. And the Prince of Wales is unbelievably considerate. I've had the most amazing gifts from him, everything from an interlocking IH gold bracelet to a picnic blanket with the family tartan on. So it's always thoughtful, and there's always a sense of family and history about every gift.
I understand that you actually have your bridesmaid's dress here, and your mom's as well.
I do.
Would you let me see them?
Very special people get to see them. I will show you.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you.
So here they are.
This is them. I can't believe I'm seeing them close up.
The one that I wore and the one that my mother wore. My mother's was, for a while, it was in a museum, and it went on a world tour. Mine also was in a museum. And then my mother's came back, and she had it in a box in her cellar. And when I built the house, I said, but this is crazy. Let's get them out and hang them side by side. Of course, when the Queen got married, England was just coming out of a time of great austerity. So there wasn't many clothing rations. So the British nation got their clothing rations together and donated it to the Queen.
They did not?
Yes, as a gesture.
Amazing.
It's so nice.
Such incredible history. What do you remember about getting into this dress, wearing this dress?
It was less the dress and more the shoes. The shoes were very painful. They were like a size too small. They weren't like a size too small. They were a size too small. So very, very painful shoes. I just remember a lot about trying to keep the wreath on the top of my head from falling. I'd had this amazing long hair and I cut it off to look like a tomboy. So really, I always say my worst hair day ever in front of 1 billion people.
Is remembered forever.
Forever.
Oh,
that
wow.
hideous haircut.
This is incredible.